So, today's the day. Hopefully the day when we can finally diagnose what's going on with the engine on the VW and why it's dumping diesel into the head. But first, a couple of things before we start. I just want to say, if you follow the series, you'll know the last episode was part of the Scotland trip. Well, fear not, after this episode I'm going to continue that Scotland trip. I think there's another 3 episodes of that one to go, but one of the reasons, the main reason I went away on that Scotland trip was to wait for this to arrive. In the real world, I've been back a few days, had a chance to have a go with it. I'll explain more in a minute, but I just wanted to update you guys on it now and then move on with the Scotland trip. Give me a little bit of time to do a few more bits with the van, and then hopefully we can bring some more episodes of the van thereafter. Also, I should say, I appreciate some of you had said give it up, Adam, and just take the van to a garage, and I totally understand where you're coming from. It is booked into a garage at the end of the month, although there is subject to believing that there might be something with the injectors, and this garage has already said to me if it needs a new head and such, then they won't touch it. So we've got it booked in a garage, but it might be futile anyway. And the thing with it is, in terms of taking it to a garage, and this is a big point for me, I believe knowledge is key. I've spent a number of weeks now trying to learn and understand a lot about mechanics with this van, a lot about van build stuff and many other things, mostly in terms of the engine, because I'd like to understand it and maybe do bits of it myself, but also because if it has to go to a garage, I want the knowledge to know what I'm talking about, so I basically don't get reamed. I've been quoted ridiculous numbers, £1,000, £1,500 to change injectors on this, and without knowing what you're talking about, it's easy to get ripped off. So in that sense, that's where this comes into play. Knowledge and having a good understanding of what's going on with that engine before we may or may not have to take it to a garage to get it fixed for something. And if I'm honest, this thing costs 27 quid. What it is called VAGCOM or VCDs. It's basically an OBD device, but a souped up one that's really popular and probably the best one you could use for diagnosing issues electronically and computerized with a Volkswagen. It works with a few other things, Audis and such as well, and there are another couple of systems you can use, but like I say, this is the most popular one. I'm not selling the thing at all, but yeah, I think the software's free. You can download it, thank goodness, because mine came on a CD, and after searching for an hour for an old school burner, I decided to just download the thing. But I think it's these that you pay for. There's a load of different ones. This one allows me to use it on 3 different vehicles. You can get unlimited ones and so on and so forth, but this does what we need, kind of. Let me explain. Okay, I'm going to be honest, I'm not too au fait on how this really works. It's all a big learning curve for me at the minute, but essentially it works on a CAN bus system, which is an electronic computerized system developed by Bosch, who make drills, yeah, and other component parts for cars. And it's basically a control area network where you've got sort of a central ECU gateway. Imagine it like a spider's web, with the spider in the middle being the gateway and the ECU, and then other sort of nodes or chips around that web, and they're the other components, chips of the car. For example, engine, lighting, possibly steering, braking. Without super knowledge I wouldn't know, but you get what I'm saying. And supposedly ours works on that perfectly as well. You plug it into the car, you plug it into the laptop. However, and before we start, let me don the Dirk Diggler aka porn glasses. Look at the state of those. Look how thick that lens is. I know some of you have wondered why the eye squints. Well, that's why. 2 operations and it's quite susceptible to light, which is why I squint with it quite a bit. Secret little knowledge, but people have asked. In terms of the program, let me try and show you what's what. There's a load of things you can do with this program. It's got a service reminder interval up here on the top right, so if you've got the service light come on, you can just click that and it will remove that. It's got your standard OBD functions for fault finding and clearing. Program options is just literally for this program, just to set it for USB and believe it COM ports. I guess we use in old vehicles, so some of them still use COM ports. Applications is where the dangerous stuff is, basically. You could really set settings on there. For example, if you're going to put new injectors in, they need setting to certain settings, and it can be done within this program, so we'll get out of that part quickly. And then you've got the auto scan, which is basically where we started having a little bit of an issue with this. It should work perfectly on a CAN base, and I should be able to go and do a gateway installation list. It's just a scan, talks to that main gateway, that ECU that I talked about, and then from there it pings the other ones and just gets the basic sort of overview of what's going on. When I ran that, or rather I couldn't run that, I actually find a workaround. Not too much, it's just you can select your actual vehicle down there. Incidentally, mine's the 7H Volkswagen multivan, somewhere down there, 2003 to 2010. So then you can do a bit of a deeper scan, which I did, and I ran it. I don't think I've got pictures of it now, but it came up with 2 errors, one on the lighting, and I believe one was steering or something. And I'll be honest, I ran this yesterday or a couple of days ago without recording it. I didn't want the hassle of going through this now and trying to make a video and by accident clicking the wrong thing and bricking the vehicle. You can literally brick your vehicle with this program. So from there, after doing a scan, clearing a couple of faults, I went into here, and I'm not properly going to be able to show you, but I do have pictures of this, straight into the engine, and then there's options to check the injectors, mass airflow system and turbo, which I ran, and I ran these and the numbers look good. Anything above a 2 on these readings and you've got a problem with the injectors. 4, 5, 6s, 6s definitely your injectors are off, baked and probably blown already. Anything below a 2, it's pretty good, they're in good order. 1, 3 and 4, they're running at about 0.4s, 0.5s. Injector 2 is running at about a 1.4. Now, some Wins injector cleaner might sort that out. It may be a little bit of grime on there, on the tip, on the many parts it could be on. It also could indicate that the seals on the injector might be gone. O-rings, rubbers, bits like that. What it's not saying is those injectors are blown. And I should note, because I know some of you are going to say it, yeah, there's only 4 injectors on there, aren't they? And mine's a 5-cylinder, means it's got five injectors. I know. There's a way to tweak the program. I've got to go into the advanced features, find a code, and fiddle and backdoor, that's probably not the right phrase, the program, so I can set it to move the 5 cylinders and the 5 injectors, which hopefully we'll be doing at a later stage. So, what does this all mean? Well, it means that it's looking like all the injectors are okay, which means it leads to a few other things. And it's kind of pointing towards the tandem pump. It's dumping so much fuel in there without any symptoms of shuddering, smoking and other such, that after all this analysing and diagnosing, it really does push towards the tandem pump. As I say, it still could be seals on the injectors, but the next stage now really is to get that tandem pump looked at. It does look like there's a little bit of gunk under the tandem pump, but that would just indicate something along with the gasket. The main gubbins with those water pumps is internal, so unless you take it off and start stripping it down, you're not going to know if it's kaput or not. I feel like we've waited a long time, and I'm waiting a long time to still get this thing into the garage, but in the meantime I think we've got to a good point where we might be able to fix this before it goes into the garage.
2 days later.
So yes, here we are a few days later, and I'm including this because there's been an incredibly weird anomaly going on with the van since I cleared those 2 faults and ran the VCDs. The oil level has gone down, and not in such a way that it's all over my driveway, no, it's just disappeared as if by bloody magic essentially. And I'll try and show you, It's gone from being about a litre above the max level to being on the max level. And I've also ran around and done about 5 miles with it. I've stuck a bottle of Wins injector cleaner in there and just got it up to temperature. Tested it again this morning on the oil level and it's still on the max level. I've spoken to a friend about it and he seems to think there is a possibility that it could just be the wrong oil in that engine. So where I'm at now is, I honestly don't know. What I'm proposing to do is run it round for about 30-40 miles. I've got some tinkering to do now. Check it again. If it's still on the max level and it hasn't risen again, then I'll do an oil and filter change and we'll take it from there and put it on the exact right level. And obviously if it's risen again, well then we're back to square one with trying to diagnose if it's injector seals or a tandem pump or something else. And let's be honest, the main reason I want to get that bloody engine sorted out is so we can start kitting out the back of this van, which is what I'm going to do anyway in a few more episodes after this one. But for the running round that we need to do, I need to get rid of that bed and it's going to go to old man Grumpster's. So let's drive over the other side of the city and go and say hello to the Grumpster. Oh no, we've just arrived and there's been a bit of a disaster. Hang on a minute. Looks like the Grumpster's been drying his Y fronts and they fell all over the floor. Nightmare. We should have to pick them up for him. Dad? Dad? Your pants are all over the floor, mate. Oh, they're not your pants? Oh, I thought these pink pants were yours.
Oh no, the yellow one's mine.
Let's get the bed out. That's it.
There you go.
That's it.
Easy, wasn't it?
Sharon, we gotta go. Oh wait, we can't go.
Yeah, I got to go.
I need to show you his bathroom first.
No.
He's had a new bathroom done.
Well, yeah.
He's had a walk-in bathroom, I've got to tell you. It looks amazing. Look at this. Dun, da, da, da. I'm honestly a bit jealous. And I might come back in a bit for a shower and a dump. Just to christen it. For now, let's get on to the next thing. I'm just gonna say it. None of us are getting any younger. Strangely, as time and the days go on, day by day, we get older and things wear out, like your back. Also, I should say, it's never a good idea to try and remove a rocker bed from the back of a van on your own when you've got a tow bar that it may probably get hooked up on, and as you try and release it from that sneaky little position that it's stuck in, you may tweak and pull your back out. Just saying, you might. It was 2 days ago and I still can't walk properly. Slightly painful, as is the situation with the van. Although what I wanted to do before we sign off on this is try and do something fun. But first we need to do the daily oil level check. And I can tell you, I've just had a look at this a minute ago and it looks the same as it has been for the past few days. And there it is, sat on the max where it's not moved for a few days, even though I've been driving around with it. I don't know what's going on. But let's go put a smile on her face and see if we can get these alloys fitted. Oh my, for God's sake, it's a green light 5 minutes ago. Come on guy, let's go. Ah, the rain's come in and all the do for drivers have come out. Oh wow. 30-mile-an-hour road, mate. You're doing 10 mile an hour. Let's go. Let's go. Just saying, depends how the YouTube goes. Might try and convert one of them into a car camper next. Just a thought. Maybe try and get a second-hand one. Oh, if only. I think we don't need about 20 million subscribers. Yep. Well, a very nice end to today's episode. I've wanted to get these wheels on for about a month and a half now, and finally they're on, and they're looking fantastic. I really think they set the van up. With the silver and the red, I think they work perfect there. And it's genuinely nice to get something new and shiny on the van. It just makes it look a bit more like it's on its way to being a camper. In terms of the engine, because we are about 4 or 5 days since I ran the VCDs, I've done 40 miles on the clock. As you saw this morning, the oil level's still on the max, so it's not rising or dropping. If we look underneath, there is a little bit of a drippy drip oil, but nothing major. I don't think that's one, but that looks like it's coming from the sump area, but hey ho. The reality of it is it could be dripping from anywhere. And I just want to say one last thing, because there's been a couple of you guys that have been really helping me to try and analyse what's going on with this, and also offered help for removing parts and such, and bless you. Both Carl and Ashley, bless you guys for kind of putting up with me on the WhatsApp and all that, with massive long conversations about it all. And I should say, after all this and the way the van's running now, it does lead me to believe, like I believed before, there's nothing major wrong with this. We've just got to find what little niggly bits are going on. The next stage is an oil change and a filter, and then down to the garage. But for now, I really hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I appreciate it's been a very different episode to normal. But this van has got a journey that we're going on between us and you guys as well. The good and the bad. Not everything goes straight in life. And I genuinely wanted to bring you guys along this journey with me. Hopefully in a year's time, we'll be sat somewhere in Scotland or Europe with beaming smiles on our face and a fully kitted out camper. But we've got to work towards that. And anything worth working towards always has the potential for not being easy. But for now, whatever you're getting up to, take care of yourselves. Big love, and take it easy. Enjoy the camp and stay stealthy. It's getting there, mate. We'll see you in another van video soon.